Hey guys, CD here. Hey guys, CD here. And I'm excited to start my channel. I'm excited to share this video with you guys, share my story with you. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with mushrooms, specifically a large dose experience. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about mushrooms and discuss them, and I feel like I should share my story. Um, to give you guys a little bit of background, I'm 22 years old. I live in the Midwest. I had quite a bit of psychedelic experience beforehand. Um, I had a small tolerance leading up to this mushroom experience. I had done mushrooms about 2 weeks to a week beforehand, and they weren't the best mushrooms. They weren't the strongest mushrooms at all. They didn't look the best. So they didn't give me a whole lot. So about a week later, I came across these ones. They were called albino penis embryo mushrooms, apes, as what we refer to them. Um, and so we had gotten those, and I had decided that I was going to do a large dose of them. I decided that I was going to go far with them, and so I decided that I was going to do 10 grams. I was going to lemon tech them. If you don't know what lemon teching is, it's when you mix it with lemon juice. Typically, you want the mushrooms to be in like a baby powder consistency. You mix them with the lemon juice and you let them sit for about 15 minutes. So I did that with 5 grams. I drank them, mixed up the second cup, let that sit for about 15 minutes and drank those. And then I went to the bathroom to take a shower. When I went to take the shower, I was already feeling them a little bit. This is about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes after. Um, I was definitely getting some minor hallucinations, just really minor stuff, like some light change. Lights got a little bit brighter, colors got a little bit more vibrant. Um, I started getting some audio hallucinations. I was hearing like as if you turned on the faucet in the sink and let it run and drip onto the floor. I was almost hearing that. I was hearing almost like whispers or mouth noises. Like if you opened up and closed your mouth just a bunch and you're just listening to those noises, that's almost what I was hearing. Um, and about 15 minutes into that, I decided that it was time to get out the shower. I hadn't dried myself off the best, and it was cold in the house. So when I came out here to the living room, um, to sit with my best friend, excuse me, um, to sit with my best friend, I was shivering quite a bit, and he was asking me if I was okay, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm fine. I'm just pretty fucking high right now." Um, so he started asking me about a previous DMT trip that I had. Talking about uh this trip that I called the green trip, and it was really crazy because I was pretty much able to see what I was talking about. I was able to see the green. I was able to see almost everything that I was talking about, um, and that happened in that trip. Um, so that was pretty crazy and that was pretty cool. And somehow it transitioned into kind of just talking about my life a little bit. I couldn't really tell you how it transitioned into that, but it did. And I kind of just started to rant about my life. I kind of just started to talk about it. I would just kind of like from childhood all the way up until the point that I was at. I would just talk about everything. Um, I would talk about how I felt as a kid. I would talk about how I would ignore how I felt as a kid with drugs and tobacco and alcohol. Um, and I would talk about my dad dying. Um, I talked about really anything you could imagine that happened in your life. It was a little bit like as if the mushroom stripped me of any barriers that I had. Um, any barriers I had, it was just like this is not needed anymore. We need to show you what is happening. So the best way I can describe it, it's like as if you were still yourself. You still feel yourself. You're still in this body. You still have emotions. You still have feelings. You still have perspective. Um, but all your internal battles, all your internal struggles, are laid before you. For me, it was almost in a visual sense. It was almost just so to describe the visuals. It was like a circle, and it was open. It was completely open eyed, and the circle was surrounded with almost a blue, smoky, watery feel to it, a kind of misty feel to it, almost like as if I was looking down into like Harry Potter's goblet or something like that, and seeing those things I was talking about. Um, I would completely witness everything I was talking about. It was very distorted. It's not like I was seeing um, here. It's not like I was seeing this. You know what I mean? Imagine if it was all wavy and you know psychedelic. That's how I was seeing the stuff I was talking about, seeing my life. That's how I was seeing everything I was ranting about. Um, and it was very confronting. It was very confronting. Things I had never talked about before to anybody, not even myself, was now being laid before me, um, in this psychedelic experience. Um, Sorry, like I was saying, it was like everything was just laid before me. Um, it was just like everything was very clearly in my face. Like, this is what is happening in your life. This is what you need to work on. This is where your insecurities, this is where your problems root from. It was almost like I was able to still be myself, but almost step back and look at my life and my problems in me in almost a third person perspective. I was able to see why I was the way I was. And it was very eye opening. I was very grateful for my friend to be there to help me talk through it. He didn't really say a whole lot, but since he was there, it allowed me to speak about it. Since it wasn't like I was just talking to myself. I'm not sure if I'm alone here, but for me, it was really hard to confront myself with the internal struggles and internal battles that I was going through because talking to myself almost well, first of all, talking to yourself makes you feel crazy, and it made it feel more like an act. It made it feel like everything I was saying or everything that I thought I felt when I wasn't high on mushrooms was just a portrayal of how I thought my life was. You know what I mean? And when I did the mushrooms, it wasn't like that. When I had my best friend there to talk to, it wasn't like I was just putting on an act. It wasn't like I was putting on a show. It was raw. It was like, this is how it is, and for that, I wouldn't have traded that for anything. Um, because of that experience, it's given me the ability to look at my life from an external perspective and tell myself, okay, you don't need to smoke tobacco. You don't need to drink alcohol. You don't need to smoke weed. You don't need to do psychedelics. Um, those are all vices and ways to ignore your life, um, to ignore how you feel. And I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. And I decided that I wanted to think about how I feel and work through the trials and tribulations that have been laid before me. Um, so at the end of that experience, I was kind of a mess. I had done cried for a couple hours. I had snot running down my face. My friend didn't really know what to say to me because he had heard my whole life story. Um, and it really took me a couple weeks to process it. It took me a couple weeks to process what I had just experienced, what I had gone through, and the same thing with my roommate and my best friend that I'd known for 10 years. And me and him are both happy that I did it. It allowed him to learn more about me, and it strengthened our bond together, and allowed myself to learn more about me to where I can have better bonds with people and better bonds with myself, with how I feel internally and how I feel about stuff externally. Um, if you guys liked this video, I hope that it brought you some entertainment. Um, I hope that it kind of educates you guys a little bit. Um, and if you guys have any more questions or comments or anything, please let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. Sorry for the abrupt ending. I kind of got some stuff to do. Um, but I hope that this taught everybody um, a little bit about the potential of mushrooms.